I labor, 6 days I strive. But when the sun sets, I come alive. The world keeps running, but I stand still, obeying your command, Yahuwah's will. No working hands, no toiling ground, only peace and joy abound. A day of rest to get so true, Yahuwah, I delight in you. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign I will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. No buy or selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. A day for worship, a time to be with family close and heart set free. I hear your voice in stillness deep. You call me close, my soul to keep. Your love surrounds, your spirit leads. You give me rest, you meet my needs. Set apart from worldly ways, I lift my voice in songs of praise. Your covenant forever stands. I trust, obey, and lift my hands. The work is done, the table set. Your Sabbath peace I won't forget. I breathe it in, I let it flow. A glimpse of what's to come, I know. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign that will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. From week to week this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. From week to week this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us. As you guys all probably are aware, last week was a sick week for me. And we tried the best we could to get to it, but it was just not happening. But here we are. We have survived this week. We hope that you guys have survived this week. We hope that you guys are reading your scriptures and you are writing these scriptures on your heart, on your mind, and on your soul. For those who do not know who we are the people that believe all of the scriptures from the front of the book to the back of the book, including the Apocrypha. That is the words of wisdom that we glean from, that we live by, that is part of our lives and part of our journey. And when you start keeping the Torah, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, it is like a breath of fresh air. It is something that when you discover that there is a different path, that there is a covenant path, a path that our Creator has asked us to go on, a journey He has wished us to keep, and when we are in covenant with Him, then we are able to get to that next step, which is the kingdom to come, and that is what we are hoping for. And so with that, Cade, will you please open us in prayer?
Virgin Father, thank you for this day. Thank you once again for bringing us back to another week, to another rest, to another Shabbat. The day you have set apart, the day you have called anointed, and we ask that your Ruach is upon us today as we dive into this word, as we learn with the people, we learn with this spiritual family, we learn with this people all across the world that your Ruach is upon us, that is on our hearts, minds, and souls, to understand, to learn what you want us to learn, to follow this path. And we ask that we are in your covenant, we are walking in your ways. Amen.
Okay, Jade, will you please Shema us, please?
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. and shall bind them with a sign on your hand, and they shall be thrust between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay, all right. Now we get into this, Mr. Cole. Give us our brothers and sisters who have made it to this reading with us.
All right, so we have Maria Jose Santos de Hall.
Bueno, buenas.
We have Candy and Ruby, Sarah and William, Jeremy and Callan, Richie, Regina, and Jerry Elias Yirmiyahu. I believe that's a new name, so welcome to you.
Yeah, what's up, Jerry Elias Yirmiyahu? Much love to you. Much love to all of you guys out there. And everybody that watches in the future. We appreciate all of you guys, and we hope that you guys are seeking our Creator where He is able to be found. Now, what we do every Shabbat is a setup that we do that is something that we're actually keeping commandments. You guys are all keeping commandments. We are too as well as we go through these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? There's no way that we are ever able to write the words on our heart, on our minds, and our souls if we don't read them, if we don't recite them, if we don't apply them to our lives. Now, what we're about to read are these same set of guidelines that we will be judged by in eternity. They are also the same set of guidelines when our Messiah Yahushua says, "Depart from me, you who work lawlessness." These are these same instructions. And so as we go through them, they are something that should become like muscle memory. That as we are walking through this very treacherous world that we are into, that is full of tremendous sin, tremendous darkness, and tremendous amount of people that have completely chosen Satan over our Creator, these are the things the Creator of the universe has asked us to observe, to keep, and to be a part of our lives. So with that, we will begin, and we will try to go slowly and try to make it through this. And commandment number 1 is be fruitful.
Multiply. Replenish the earth. Subdue.
One more time.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The earth bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean living that lives shall eat food for you. Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
And that's reiterated, guys. Look at the size of this monstrous one. It is huge, right? There is no command larger or bigger than this command right here, which is it's a monstrous one, right? And when I say monstrous, we're talking like 3 pages of this right here. And I like to reiterate this one because when you have nailed the laws of our Creator to the cross, or when you say they have been fulfilled and you are done with them and they don't apply to your life, then you are breaking this commandment. And this commandment isn't just said one time. It's not something that's just here. Look at the size of this thing. It goes on and on and on, and it's all about guarding it. And it's, tossing it away is not guarding anything. Okay, every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Heed shall the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah. You shall not make graven images.
You shall do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat. Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock. Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors. Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times. Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim. Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset. Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report. Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray. Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes. Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names. Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you. Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make or use perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do. Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation. Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family. Do not take your woman's sister for a wife. Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness. You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh. Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your workers for the day's wage. They are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor. Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not divert your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool. Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery. Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos. Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium. Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nations. Keep the feast of first fruit, Shavuot, on recount, Pentecost.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of goat, Shem Yatzeret. If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury. On the Yovel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The Torah of being a Nazir. Wear easy on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's Torah of inheritance. The law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul. Learn to fear Yahuwah. You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart. Bind the Torah, the laws, upon your hands and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah. Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah. Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name. Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with. Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any bones between your eyes for the dead. You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increased seed year by year. The laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hands from the poor. Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates. Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken to the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. The prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with false witness among Torah keepers. The first child is to get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall not wear pertains to a man, nor a man wear pertains to a woman. You find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies, or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute. Do not use dirty money.
Law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge. If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get payment. Get your payment. He must return his clothing before sunset, if that was his pledge.
Do not.
I think that one was a little botched there. So let's try that one. If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset, if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, and leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies, then so child you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother. At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot and the Feast of Tabernacles.
So there we go. These are the rejected laws of our Creator that have been rejected by every single religion that is out there. There is no religion that is out there that I do not consider to be satanic. And everybody's going to throw rocks at me, and people always throw rocks at me, but you can't prove me wrong. To be in a Satanist club, you are going against the will of our Creator. And by doing that, you are hooking your star to the hands of Hasatan. That makes it a Satanist. And unfortunately, by default, that makes those in religion a Satanist. Now, no, they're not openly serving the devil. But by default, when you have no moral compass, you do not keep the laws of our Creator, that means you are going to be rejected from the kingdom to come. So those 150 some commands had right there are great commands for life. They are things that we don't hear in our regular life. We don't know things about not the fat and not drinking blood. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to probably drink blood, and as we know, the real Satanists, they love to drink blood. But all of these things are things that will enhance your life. It will make your family stronger, it will make you stronger, and it will give us an opportunity to make this kingdom to come. So they're not that hard, and everybody has been brainwashed. When you are in the cult of whatever religion it is, and every single religion is a cult compared to what scriptures say. And so we want to follow what the scriptures say, all of the scriptures, not just what Shaul, Paul, says in the back. Because it is incredible the amount of indoctrination and the people that have been led astray by Paul. And I get it from these guys. I literally get into battles with these guys from death row that drill me because I tell them they should be keeping the commandments of our Creator. I had one guy from death row this week tell me, he's like, oh, you're not very Christ-like because you're not showing the love of Christ. And I simply asked him if he was serving Paul as his Elohim, because that's all he would do was quote me Paul. He comes up with the, well, Jesus fulfilled all the laws. And I'm like, well, the word fulfilled doesn't mean abolish. That's not what the word means. And I sent it to him in Greek. And then he went back and he slammed me again. And I've never actively blocked an inmate yet that I've been talking to. It has gotten close. This guy's the closest I've ever gotten to, because he's on a warpath. He's on a Paul warpath, and he's chucking these spears of lawlessness at me. And, you know, he's on death row. They're going to kill him. And I literally said, my friend, this is where hell for you will truly begin. And it's probably something very, very shocking, but this is the problem, that all of us are on death row. Every single living person is on death row. Every single one of us has a time when we will breathe our last breath. And at the end of that last breath is when our testing is done. And we're either going to get an A or we're going to get an F. And hopefully C's can make it into the kingdom. Because there's a lot of people that are very, very lukewarm that don't keep anything at all. And so there's, you know, when scriptures say that most people don't make the kingdom, that's something we should take a note of. Why don't most people make the kingdom? And in that same chapter that talks about that, Messiah very clearly says, depart from me, you who are lawless. And, you know, the other Bibles have changed lawlessness and Torah into iniquity, and people are like, oh, I don't have iniquity, or the Holy Spirit guides me where I need to go, and, you know, I can eat my pork and ask, I can have Mary tell me that, you know, just pray to Mary that this pork is going to be clean. And it doesn't work like that, right? All of those things are dogmas, bad dogmas, traditions of men that have led most of the world astray. And there's no excuse in this world that we are in right now that we don't read our scriptures. You either don't care or you're too lazy, and that is a fatal sentence when it comes down to scriptures. So with that, let us get into our Torah reading today. We are in the book of Numbers 20. Somebody give me a breakdown of the lives and times of the people all the way to this point.
All right, so we are in the desert. We're wandering the desert very late into Numbers. We have the command. We've gotten the commands, the Levitical commands. We've gone to war a little bit. We got some land. They lost the war for disobeying Yahuwah, and they got completely smoted by saying they're going to take on a land of giants by themselves. And then we got Korach. He wanted to be. So he got swallowed by the earth, him and all his people. About him dying, so they got burned up. And then last time we learned about the red heifer, about how they're supposed to use it, and for the priests, know what they're supposed to do, and all of their laws.
So, just reading the comments here as we roll through this here. Okay, let us get into this. This is Numbers 20. And the children of Yisrael, all the congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month. And the people stayed in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled against Moshe and against Aaron. And the people contended with Moshe and spoke, saying, if only we had died when our brothers died before Yahuwah. Why have you brought up the assembly of Yahuwah into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? And why have you brought us up out of Mitzrayim to bring us to this evil place? Not a place of grain or figs or wines or vines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink. Then Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of appointment, and they fell on their faces, and the esteem of Yahuwah appeared to them. Now, this is a big thing, right? A lot of people have a lot of water issues worldwide. There is, water is obviously one of these things our brutish human forms need to have, and it is something that, this was a test. Just like everything that we have in our life is a test. When we are done with the days of testing, we have to go to the judgment seat of accountability. And so these guys have fallen, and they've seen miracle after miracle after miracle. They were in Egypt, they were in Mitzrayim, they were able to see all of the plagues, the locusts, the lice, the frogs, the people dying, the Red Sea being split, walking on dry land. Over and over and over, they were able to see stuff. They saw the ground open up and suck Korach and his family all the way down into this. But yet, they will still have the brass to go against Moshe and to go against Aaron. And instead of, politely asking Moshe and Aaron, hey, what do we do? They decided they were going to pick up the rocks, right? They were going to go at them. And this is a huge assembly. We're not talking a little village. We're not talking a couple thousand people. We're talking many, many, many thousands of people that all have their little leaders, and everybody in these little things are attacking the leaders, and the leaders go and attack Moshe. And this is a troublesome time for the people of Yisrael. Okay, continuing on. 6. Then Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of appointment. They fell on their faces, and the esteem of Yahuwah appeared to them. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, take the rod and assemble the congregation, you and your brother Aaron, and you shall speak to the rock before their eyes, and it shall give its water. And you shall bring water for them out of the rock, and give drink to the congregation and their livestock. Now, this is a very heavy duty verse, because this is a commandment from our Creator to Moshe. And this is where the entire fall of Moshe began. This is why Moshe was never able to go into the land that was given to them. And instead of what he's about to do, the command is that you speak to the rock before their eyes. Right? There's a reason why our Creator didn't want Moshe to get aggressive, why he didn't want anything other than this. Our Creator knows how people work and how they operate. And this was a test for Moshe, and it was for Aaron. And this is unfortunate that, the people are pushing Moshe to the point. And, Moshe had the patience of many saints, right? This is something that none of us would ever be able to, walk like Moshe in any shape or form. I would have already been kicked out of the land long before this if I was having to lead this group of rebellish people. 9. And Moshe took the rod from before Yahuwah as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron assembled to the assembly before the rock. And he said to them, hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock? Then Moshe lifted up his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod. And much water came out, and the congregation and their livestock drank. Now, there's a couple things that we should probably take note of this. Is that number one, our Creator, even though Moshe disobeyed, our Creator still gave him validity in the eyes of the people. Had he smashed the rock a couple of times with the stick and nothing happened, everybody would be looking at him going, whoa, this guy has no power, he has no strength, what's going on? Where's our Elohim? But he allowed the water to flow even though the commandment was broken. And this is how easy it is to get on the wrong side of our Creator. When our Creator tells us to walk in His ways, when He says that you should keep my laws, my statutes, my commands for all generations, and inside of these laws, statutes, and commands are words like don't tempt our Elohim, right? We don't want to come under subjection with the designer and creator of all things. It's not a good idea. There's many bad things that can happen to us in life, in our human bodies, where tempting our Creator, He may do some things that you may end up on death row. You never know what He's going to do to get your attention if we are not attending to the ways that we should be. Continuing on. 12. But Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, because you did not believe me, to kadosh me in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore, you do not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. And so this is the crime, right? The kadosh is to basically be holy, to do it in a manner that our Creator wanted Him to do it, with respect, with dignity. And you got to look at the effects between Moshe screaming at everybody and going, "Is this what you want, rebels?" and smashing the rock, and him talking to the rock and saying, "Produce water." And so our Creator had a certain way that He wanted to be presented, that He wanted Moshe to present for Him. And this is as easy as it is to fall from the grace of our Creator when we disobey Him. So we need to listen to His words at all times. What you got, Jim?
So Moshe here, he's probably really frustrated with the people at this point, that he's been knowing them for many, many years. But he's also in mourning. His sister just died, and these people are attacking him when his sister had just died. So he's in mourning. So he's probably even more frustrated than usual, angry at them. So when he's yelling at them, that's probably why, because he's probably going through mourning. They have no compassion. They don't care.
Yeah,
and
very good point.
And so when he hits the rock, it's probably out of frustration and anger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would have picked up the stick and start beating the people. Honestly, I wouldn't have beat the rock. I'm like, you rebels want this? Take this. And, you know, there's only so much a person can take. And Moshe has been under test, under test, under test, under test. I mean, this guy, in my eyes, Moshe passed all his tests. I mean, I'm definitely not going to fault this guy for this particular incident. It's just there's only so much that a person can take. And you're right. You're absolutely right that his sister just died. So there's going to be some issues. Okay, so Aaron and Moshe just got doomed from this. So this wasn't just a Moshe thing. This was an Aaron thing. Now, why do you guys think that Aaron got smoted on this?
Probably because they both had to go before Yahuwah. He told them both, and Aaron didn't stop Moshe. He'd be like, hey, they should walk into the rock and talk to it. But he let Moshe hit it and said, hey, brother, let's do what Yah said and talk to it. He just sat there and watched it.
And what do you think the eyes of the people saw that would be different than speaking? How would they look? What would they do? Would it be more peaceful?
I think it would be more of a miracle, like you hit the rock and it starts spitting out water. But if you talk to the rock and all of a sudden it starts spitting out water, that's a lot different. Yeah,
and there's many times that Moshe has used his staff for stuff, right? I mean, he had the incident in Mitzrayim where he took a staff, threw it down, and became a snake. I believe he put his staff in the Red Sea, right? Didn't he? He put his staff in the Red Sea. So there was all these incidents where he had this, and this time he beat the rock, and this was a bad move. Okay, 13. 13, right, I guess?
Yep.
Okay. These were the waters of Meribah, because the children of Israel contended with Yahuwah, and he was kadosh among them. And Moshe sent messengers from Kadesh to the sovereign of Edom. This is what your brother Yisrael said. You know all the hardship that has befallen us, that our fathers went down to Mitzrayim, and we dwelt in Mitzrayim a long time, and the Mitzrites did evil to us and our fathers. And we cried out to Yahuwah, and he heard our voice, and sent the messenger, and brought us up out of Mitzrayim. And see, we are Kadesh, a city on the edge of your border. Please, let us pass over through your land. We shall not pass over through fields or vineyards, nor drink water from wells. We shall go along the sovereign's highway. We shall not turn aside right or left until we have passed over your border. But Edom said to him, you shall not pass over through me, lest I come against you with the sword. And the children of Israel said to him, we shall go by the highway, and if I or my livestock drink any of your water, then I shall pay for it. Let me only pass over on foot without a word. But he said, you do not pass over. And Edom came out against them with many men and with a strong hand. So when Edom refused to let Yisrael pass over through his border, Yisrael turned away from him. And the children of Yisrael, all the company, departed from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron in Mount Hor, near the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron is to be gathered to his people, for he is not able to enter the land which I have given to the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my mouth at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar, his son, and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, for Aaron is to be gathered to his people and die there. And Moshe did as Yahuwah commanded, and they went up to Mount Hor before the eyes of all the congregation. And Moshe stripped Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there on the top of the mountain. And Moshe and Eleazar came down from the mountain. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, all the house of Yisrael wept for Aaron for 30 days.
So Moses loses both of his last remaining family members, or his siblings.
Yep. And we don't know the exact time frame that this was. I mean, this could have been some time. We don't know if it was immediate. We don't know if it was something that was, a little bit in the future. But this was all part of the death sentence that happened based upon striking the rock. So whatever happened during that incident, Aaron was definitely complicit. He was probably firing up Moshe as well, and he was probably going off. There was probably obviously something other than him just being a bystander that he ended up with this death sentence. Now, the one good thing about this is he actually got a death sentence date. He actually knew when he was going to die, which is something most of us don't know. Most of us are only living in wonderment, wondering how long it is before we will die. And when you have a date, that makes everything really change. And you think he was scared? You guys think he was scared, Aaron?
I don't know.
To die?
I don't know if he knew he was going to die or not.
You said go up the mountain, Aaron's going to die.
Well, I don't think Moses. I think he was talking directly to Moses. I don't think he was talking to Aaron.
You don't think so? You don't think he? I think he knew, dude. He was. I don't think this would have been a secret. I mean, he was up there. He was getting ready to take off all this stuff.
And he had to strip his garments.
Yeah, he would have been living in wonder. Why am I getting stripped off of all my stuff? Why is this? I think he knew exactly what was going to go down. And again, we can only speculate because we don't know. Okay. All right, so here we are. Let us go into the book of Luke as we are continuing on through our readings. Somebody give me a breakdown of Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
So we had the first two Gospels, and we learned that about Yehoshua, and we are very detailed in Matthew. Mark is less detailed, very much breaks down, gets the basics. Then we are now in Luke. The first chapter of Luke, we learned about John the Baptist, that he was, how he was basically given to a very elderly couple. They were priests and out of Judah as well, so he was a Levite, and he was born. He became technically, I think, Yehoshua's second cousin. That's what it is, because their parents were cousins, second cousin, I think. And then Yehoshua was a miracle, and then so both of the women that had John the Baptist and Yehoshua, they both said it was miracles that happened, and they were very happy about it. And then John the Baptist was born. He became the Baptist, and then Yehoshua, he was born, the homeboy, what's his name? Caesar Augustus? Yeah, Augustus, he wanted everyone to be registered, so they all went to Jerusalem. He was born in basically like a manger kind of thing, a cave. There's no room in the inn. So then Yehoshua grew up and became very wise and was teaching with the old fellows, the scribes.
Yeah. And here's something that I will just throw out there. This is a completely one-off. But I had a letter from a prisoner that came in. And I've been working on this guy for a long time. And he has a big blue scriptures. And everybody that I get a hold of inside of writings, I'm always, I guess, pressuring or encouraging that they keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, that they seek a better way. But what he came up with is... he's like, he finds it real funny that Judas was born to do what he did. And what he said is, why did Judas go to hell for doing what he had to do, what he was born to do? So based upon that, Eli, give me the answer to that.
What was the question?
Were you sleeping on me?
No, I was supposed to get.
Okay, Kate, how about you?
I think it was because even though he was that was his destiny, that was like his fate. he still had a choice of what he had to do. He let his hatred overtake him.
Okay, that's not exactly what I said, but that's one thing. Did you hear that question?
Yeah, so basically, why did Judas go to hell for doing what he did?
Yeah.
As well, it's because he hung himself, and so it's like curses the man who hangs on a tree. Is that the right answer?
So, that's what I'm looking for. This is what I told him. I said the Scriptures does not say this guy went to hell, right?
Okay,
that's the first thing. That's the first thing I said. I said, where did you guys get that? Where did you get that this guy went to hell? We don't know what it was. We know Messiah said that it was better for a man that would do what he did never to be born, which doesn't necessarily say he went to hell. But yes, absolutely, he hung himself. So in his death, he would have been down for a suicide, which is a murder of a creation of our Creator. So we don't know. It sounded, honestly, when he tossed back the 30 pieces of silver, it sounded like he was in repentance, right? He figured it out. And when you read the Apocrypha, it very much talks about Judas and his ways afterwards. And he didn't realize that our Messiah was going to be killed. He thought he was going to be out before Passover, and that this was just a one-off thing. And so there's a lot of stuff in there that we can only have speculation with. So Eli, please stay awake here, will you?
Brian has a question.
Yep.
He says, how was he born to do that? He had a choice to betray or not.
And that's the thing. This is what I told this brother in prison. Is he had free will. He wasn't necessarily born to do this. There was an entire religious group of people. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these people that were very close to getting our Messiah. They had already tried to put hands on him before. They were already plotting this. If it hadn't been Judas, it would have been some other dude. And Judas was just happened to be this guy. And somebody would have done what had happened. Judas just became the fella that did it. He completely had free will, and there was a lot of jealousy. We know from the Apocrypha that Judas was in charge of the money. And there was a couple times, especially where the lady had washed Messiah's feet and with the perfume, the real costly perfume. And he's like, well, according to the Apocrypha, I think it's the Book of the Nazarene that talks about it, he was always dipping into this little bag of cash. And so it's not like he was just the accountant, the guy holding the bag of cash. He was also the guy that was benefiting from the money that was in the cash. And so read your scriptures, please. Okay, so let's begin right here. Luke 3. And in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, when Pontius Pilatus was governor of Yehuda, and Herodes, district ruler of Galilee, and his brother Philippus, district ruler of Yeter, and the country of Trachonitis, and Lucius, district ruler of Abilene, Canan and Caiaphas, being Kohanim Hagdalim, the word of Elohim came to Yochanan, the son of Zechariah, in the wilderness. And he came into all the neighborhood of the Yarden, proclaiming an immersion of repentance for the forgiveness of sin, as it has been written in the book of the words of Yeshayahu the Navi, saying, a voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahuwah, make his paths straight. Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall become straight, and the rough become smooth ways. And all flesh shall see the deliverance of Elohim. He said therefore to the crowds that came out to be immersed by him, brood of adders, who warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Therefore, bear fruit worthy of repentance, and do not begin to say to yourselves, we have Abram as our father. For I say to you that Elohim is able to raise up children to Abram from these stones. And even now the axe is laid to the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Now, what does it mean, Eli, to bear good fruit?
Keeping the Torah, doing like obeying Yahuwah, loving Yahuwah, and like being good, like not being like a wicked person.
Yeah, and that's what all of us, the words of Yochanan the Immerser, of John the Baptist, are simply reiterations of the book of Isaiah. And this is the same message that all of us have. We can either bear good fruit or we will be tossed into eternity. And I know I talk a lot about my brothers in chains, but I get a tremendous amount of emails from them, hundreds and hundreds a month. It's just so many. But I talk to them a tremendous amount of this. A lot of the guys I talk to literally have a death sentence, and they're just simply waiting for somebody to say you have 90 days and you're going to be dead. At that point, they will inject them full of lethal poisons. And the encouragement that I give to all of them is that this life and this test that we are in is going to simply be like when you light a match and blow it out and that smoke that comes off of it and it dissipates and it's gone. That's what this life is going to feel like when we're dealing with eternity. And guys, we're in the age where we die really early, right? From the days of Adam, when he was 900 and some years old, and Sheth was really super old, Methuselah was super old. All of these guys were super, super old. We're talking 1,000 years they almost lived. Now we live in the age where you got kids dying out of the womb. You got people having heart attacks at 8 years old. You have everybody dying, 60, 70 years. If you make it to 70 years, man, you're an old man. Good job. Congratulations. So, we only have a brief moment of time inside of these little years that we have to live. And so when we're dealing with eternity, say you make eternity, right? Say we make eternity on the right side. And everybody's going to make eternity. But say you make it to the right side and you're 300 human years after the time that you have died, 300 years after our little 70 that we're able to kick it here, it's going to seem like, wow, that's really in the past. It's like some of these thoughts you have as when you were a kid, and it's just a brief fleeting moment of like, man, that was a long time ago. This is a test, and regardless if we're hooked up to a table and lethally injected, or we just take our last breath out here, we have eternity to face. And this is why it is very important that we are in the Torah, that we have the faith of our Messiah, that we know who's going to be running the kingdom. And the kingdom is going to be run by our Messiah, the same one from these books who has walked the Torah perfectly, the same individual that was with his father probably billions of years before creation, human years before creation. We don't know how long Messiah actually hung out with his dad, but it's obvious when it is the Word made flesh that he walked the Torah with his father in the Shamayim way before we were ever a thought into existence. Now, continuing on.
Hold on. Back to Judas.
Yeah.
Regina says, we are to fear Yah, follow his ways. If we don't, Yah will give us over to perverse spirit. Could this be what happened to Judas?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell the Hasatan, that's the thing, is if we are not serving Yahuwah with all our heart, mind, and soul, we're always opening ourselves up for unclean spirits. And, when you read the Apocrypha and like the book of Enoch, and you hear about the Watchers that had sexual relations with the humans, and then they begat a set of giants. And there was a generation of all the first set of giants. And then those giants all had kids, and they got even bigger and bigger. Then those guys bred amongst them, and then they had another one. So you had the Watchers, you had the Nephilim, the Naphilim, and the Eliud, according to the book of Enoch. And by the time they were done, these things were basically feasting, they're picking up the little man and just using them like chiclets, right? We were just itty bitty tiny in their eyes. And these things, when they died, they didn't have anywhere to go. And so these things, all their what you would call their souls, or what we have as a soul, since they were not created by our Creator in the same way that we were fashioned, they have been left to plague us. And so we're dealing with gazillions of demons and gazillions of things that they don't love the way of Elohim. And you have their master commander, Hasatan, that is the leader of this ragtag group of demons. And it's bottom line is you're either with Yah or you're against him. And you can see it as you look into these so-called religious systems where it's the once saved, always saved, and you mention things about keeping the laws of our Creator, and they laugh at you, right? They scoff at you like, oh, you're the stupidest person I've ever heard in my life. We're saved simply, and nobody can take us out of the hands of our Creator. And that is called a cult. That is something that is a religious, satanic viewpoint, because none of that exists in Scriptures. And so when we are not working with our Creator, it completely opens it up. And part of Judas's issue is that, he got jealous. He got really upset. He didn't understand the master plan. He didn't have his heart softened. He did not understand really truly what our Messiah's point was. And he became the orchestrator of handing him over. But again, if it wasn't Judas, it would have been somebody else. There was all these people trying to get people to lie against our Messiah. And Judas was only the simple idiot that decided to make it happen. So, continuing on. Where are we at? 9, guys?
I think you're on 9.
10, I think.
Yeah.
And the crowds, and there's, again, we're talking about John the Immerser to begin with now. And the crowds ask him, saying, what then shall we do? And he answering, he said to them, let him who has 2 undergarments share with him who has none, and let him who has food do likewise. And the tax collectors also came to be immersed, and said to him, Teacher, what shall we do? And he said to them, collect no more than what is appointed for you. And the soldiers also asked him, saying, and what shall we do? And he said to them, do not intimidate anyone or accuse falsely, and be satisfied with your pay. So everything that we're talking about here, what is he talking about here, guys?
Either way, these people are basically their personal problems. This is basically their sins, I guess.
But what's the bottom line of why these people are doing what they're doing?
For money.
Money. Yeah, you're right. Every single one of these things, right? The tax collector, don't take more than what you're supposed to. The soldiers, don't take more than you have.
Be happy with
Nothing's
your pay.
changed in 2,000 years of tax
Yeah,
collecting.
yeah. Tax collectors still tax collect. People still extort. And that's a Torah command, right? Make sure that we have proper weights and measurements. And so when we are these people that are hurting other people because we're ripping them off, and that's not to say that we can't do good business and just do regular stuff. But if you're, say for us, Jaden does computer repair, right? Say for instance, he charges somebody $40 and fixes their computer. Now, if he went and charged them $120 when he is something other, the people that are end users are at the mercy of those that have the computer skills. That's just what it is. And it has been like that since I've been in computers all my life. And it's something that if we wanted to take advantage of people, I've seen it, we see it. The people down here, they will take their computers into these other people, and they literally come out with less parts in the computer. Like the people down here will actually steal the parts out of that. And so that's just one simple example of invalid weights and measurements and taking more than you want, right? You don't need more than what is a fair balance to do things like this. And so that goes for all of us. We just don't need to rip people off to do this. 15. But as the people were in expectation and all were reasoning in their hearts about Yochanan, whether he was Hamashiach or not, Yochanan answered, saying to them all, I indeed immerse you in water, but one mightier than I is coming, whose sandal straps I am not worthy to loosen. He shall immerse you in the Ruach HaKodesh and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand, and he shall thoroughly cleanse his threshing floor and gather the wheat into his storehouse. But the chaff he shall burn with unquenchable fire. All right, so what is this, guys? What does 17 say? What exactly? What's the the winnowing fork? We're talking about a method of gathering in grain. And so we have chaff, which is, for anybody that doesn't know out there, when you take a head of grain that has been processed, that's not even processed. You can just take a head of grain in your hand and you can rub it in both of your hands together, and the seeds along with the little tiny pieces of it, the piece of the plant, will come out. The seeds are what is useful for everybody. The rest of it is either burnable or what they make into what they call straw. And so what we have here is that the gathering the wheat. So us as Yah's people, we're either wheat or we're chaff. We're either the stuff that is able to be planted and bring a new plant to life, or we are the stuff that is useless that you basically put in stables and you let your cows sit on, right? Because it's not even useful for eating. They do eat straw, but it's not like alfalfa. It doesn't have the nourishments of other stuff. So it's useless for the most part unless you're willing to bale it up and to make bales out of it and you find somebody to buy your straw. Okay, 18. In urging with many other words, he brought the good news to the people. And Herodas, the district ruler, being reproved by him concerning Herodias, his brother Philippus' wife, and for all the wicked deeds which Herodas did, added this also to them. He locked up Yochanan in prison. And it came to be, when all the people were immersed, Yahushua also being immersed and praying, the Shamaim was opened, and the Ruach HaKodesh descended in a bodily form like a dove upon him, and a voice came from the Shamaim, saying, You are my Ben, the beloved. I delight in you. Okay, this is a Trinity breaking verse, right? This is something that when you are indoctrinated into the Trinity, that you've been lied to, you've been deceived, because you either have to accept that your Creator and His Son have multiple personalities, and me, myself, and I are all the same things, and we, they, them is still me, right? That's not what this is. You have the creator of the universe that said, you are my son, the beloved. And he goes even further and goes, I delight in you. Now, this is real funny when you have this Trinity madness. And it's all over the place, right? Because in Christianity, I mean, they have missionaries everywhere teaching this trash, teaching this garbage, and it becomes a problem. People will be praying to our Messiah when we know our Elohim is a jealous Elohim. We know that he wants us to talk to him and have the lines of communication established to him. So when you are deceived and you believe what these liars have taught us, and guys, it wasn't even until like 325 AD that the Catholic Church is the one that spun this ginormous yarn. They are the ones that absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, have lied to. And yet, here we are again. And now they have elected a new satanic guy, I guess a pedophile. This guy was a pedophile at first. He had sexual charges against him. When was it?
2007.
2007. This guy had sexual charges against him that never got out there. But yet you have another guy that's taking out the altar boys, right? It is a very, very sick religion. And these are the same people that have deceived us for many, many years. And it's plagued Christianity. It's plagued all the Protestants. All of these people that believe that the Father and the Son and the Ruach HaKodesh are all one giant egg, that's a lie. So we either have to take what Scripture says, or we have to think that our Messiah and his dad are, multiple personalities. 23. And when Yahushua himself began, he was about 30 years of age, being, as reckoned by law, son of Joseph, of Eli, of Mattiyahu, of Louis, of Melchi, of Yana, of Yosef, of Mattiyahu, of Amatz, of Nahum, of Kesli, of Noga, of Ma'ath, of Mattanyahu, of Shimi, of Yosef, of Yahuda, of Yochanan, of Rephiah, of Zerubbabel, of Shealtiel, of Neri, of Melchi, of Addi, of Keshem, of Elodam, of of Yosef, of Eliezer, of Joram, of Mattanyahu, of Louis, of Shimon, of Yahuda, of Yosef, of Yonam, of Elikim, of Melia, of Minna, of Mattiah, of Nathan, of David, of Yishai, of Obed, of Boaz, of Solomon, of Nachshon, of Abinadab, of Ram, of Ketzron, of Peretz, of Yahuda, of Jacob, of Yitzchak, of Avram, of Turok, of Nachor, of Sarug, of Reu, of Peleg, of Ever, of Shelach, of Canaan, of Arpachshad, of Shem, of Noach, of Lamech, of Methuselah, of Kanak, of Yered, of Mahaliel, of Canaan, of Enosh, of Sheth, of Adam, of Yahuwah. Now, that was a lot of words, that was a lot of names, and the reason that these are very, very important is that we can trace our lineage all the way back to Yahuwah. Where Yahuwah was our father and Adam was his son, we are all sons of the Most High. And when you look at creation, and I talk to my brothers in chains about this a lot because I think it's very, very important to look at us in the way that our Creator made us. Everything is absolutely perfect. If our nose was on our knee, we'd be breaking our nose every time we hit the wall. If we had one giant eyeball inside of our head instead of two, we would have no idea what's coming to our left or right. If we didn't have any ears, or if we didn't have the feeling of touch, we'd be bleeding all the time. We'd be burned up. We wouldn't even know. We'd have injuries all over ourselves. Every single thing that our Creator has done is immaculate. And I believe that every single one of us, before we were thrown into our mother's womb, we were pulled out and we were looked at by the eyes of our Creator. And He designed every freckle, mole, hair, eyebrow, everything on us to a perfect way that He is and always will be calling us back to Him. This is the way of the kingdom. This is the way of Yah's people. And to get into the kingdom It's about obedience. It's about law keeping. It's about having the faith of our Messiah. It's about understanding that we don't need to be of the Gentile people, that we need to be set apart. We need to be different than all of the rest. And it's a good life. There's nothing wrong with law keeping. There's nothing unmanly about law keeping. In fact, I would say the strongest, most buffed dudes that are even out there are Torah keepers, right? Not only do you have your human strength, but you have the strength of our Elohim, which is what guides us and protects us and keeps us where it is. So with that, guys, I believe we are going to call this a day. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah upon you and give you peace.
Okay, here we go.
Walking steady on this road you made. Every step guided by your ways. When I listen close, I understand all your truth held in your perfect plan. Rising higher than before, lifting praise from deep in my core. Lifting praise, Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. In the morning when I rise to pray, in the evening as I end each day, every word you speak becomes my song, teaching me where I belong. Rising higher than before, your truth is what I'm living for. Living for Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. Your love surrounds me. Your love surrounds. Your truth has found me. Your truth has found every day, every way. Me setting me found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me. Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. To lift my hands to you. Forever lifting praise to you.
All right, beautiful peoples and beautiful family out there, may Yahuwah bless you. May he keep you. May his light forever shine upon you. May the grace of our Creator embrace into your life. May forever the Torah be everything that you guys live for and breathe for. And may we all high five each other one day in this kingdom to come. Shabbat shalom.